Oh, we are gonna have a little bit of downtime with the YouTube though, so
Like OBS or
we'll go into it. Never mind. We should do it. Here we go.
Yeah, are we recording? Nope, not recording.
Wait, it says stop share. Oh, stop share.
YouTube. Oh, we are recording. Shit.
There we go. Button share. Here we go. Is that all, or did you just go to YouTube? All of that?
Hmm.
Did that all just go to YouTube like that?
Yep.
Sweet.
Ready? Do it.
Yes, we are back. It is Fredo Brevity Boy, man. We are here.
What up, man?
And if you're looking on YouTube, we're in a different spot than we usually are.
We are.
Very exciting. Typically, we are miles away.
Yes, miles.
But tonight,
hours.
we are within inches.
It's great.
And we are bloated because we just had
Bunch of sushi.
so much sushi.
15, 16 rolls.
15, 16 rolls.
so.
The waitress
Yeah.
wanted to kick us out.
Totally.
It was wild.
I got a spot to prove it right
He's
here.
got a spot on his
It
shirt.
wasn't even from the sushi.
My shirt barely fits me, but I'm behind the computer.
It's great.
So it works out for everybody. But it was a good dinner. It was a good meal. And most importantly, Big Z, we got to hang out.
We did.
We got to spend some time together. It was nice.
Great. It was great.
It was
very
really
refreshing.
nice.
It was good for my soul and for your soul, I think.
Hmm.
I got to catch up a little bit.
So here's the thing. Tonight we're jumping right in because, again, if you're not watching YouTube, you don't know this. If you're on our podcast, thank you again for listening. I am in no way, shape, or form hating. Continue to listen to our podcast because we love you. Thank you so much. But if you're not watching, we have a very special guest tonight. He is someone who has a questionable taste in teams. I'm just kidding. He's a great guy. He's been one of my very best friends for years. I've seen him with a bowl haircut. It is famous. He is fantastic. He is none other than the legendary James Chavez. Round of applause, everybody. You can't hear that round of applause. I realized that we did it the other day, and my mic doesn't pick that up at all. So, Fun fact, every time I say round of applause, we do clap. We're not just idiots sitting in silence. We are actually clapping. But James, what's up? Let everybody hear that voice that belongs on radio.
What's up, brother? Hey, I appreciate you guys having me on. Good to be here and excited to see these questionable decisions that I've apparently made. So let's hear it.
I mean, just the wardrobe itself is pretty.
You guys got to go on YouTube. Listen, every week we have some reason for you to go to YouTube, and right now it's James. He's got the jersey open, he's got the chains, and most importantly, he's feeling his Yankees, who have made an extremely impressive run. They played a very hot Kansas team, right? Kansas City Royals.
Yeah.
Everybody was touting Bobby Witt. They were comparing him to Aaron Judge the entire year. He was supposed to be in part of this MVP race. And then they go to play the Guardians, who just taken out a very, very hot Detroit Tigers team. Everybody's giving them the edge. Like, hey, they got the pitching. They got everything they need to beat this Yankees team. And in fact, in one of those games, it was pretty close.
It was.
Right. I mean, James, walk us through that Guardians series. You're watching that as a Yankee fan. Well, what were you seeing, man?
I was seeing why they had the best bullpen in baseball for the whole year. That bullpen, and that is a fact. We can back up. Okay. We can back up with the facts. They had the best bullpen in baseball. They had the best closer in baseball. So we expected it to be, a grind. I would say, in the sense of, wearing down those starters that they had and being able to get to, those 3 at bats with their bullpen. And I'm a firm believer in that. Once you get to that third time around, things start really changing. So I think they were able to do that really well. I can't even think of how many walks they walked in on bases loaded against them and against the Royals. So being able to see a lot of pitches and make great decisions and not swinging and expanding the zone, I think is what was the downfall to both of those teams.
Yeah, and so now you're playing. Obviously, you're going to play the Dodgers. And are you excited? What's the feeling out there in New York? Because clearly you're from New York as a Yankee fan. Oh, that's right. No, you're in Arizona, and you were born in California. So what's the feeling? What's the excitement over there?
Let me clarify here, okay? One, yes, I was born in California. Yes, I am in Arizona, but I did live in a small little piece of Rhode Island called Providence that was pretty close to New York. So that's my claim to the East Coast
There you go.
and why I'm allowed to do this. But man, I think there's a huge appreciation for what we're about to witness over the next week and a half. I think Judge kind of nailed it in his press conference today and talking about how great Otani is and being able to play and on the same field with him and what we're really going to experience here. I think these two teams are stacked up, and Vegas has split those odds pretty closely to where, I think I'm on the same page as to how close it's going to be. There's great bats on both sides, but I think at the end of the day, the pitching is what's really going to determine how this all kind of trails out. So I think we're excited. I think, 14 years out from, or 15 years out from where we were when we were last here is a pretty big drought that we're not used to. I'm not used to experiencing the winning culture. The expectation to pay the most and have the highest payroll every year and make it in is finally here. So it's time to pay the piper.
Time to pay the piper. Big Z,
Pay John Soto or pay Soto.
Yeah. I mean, you got to give that guy a blank check. He deserves it, especially after that masterful at bat in Game 4.
Huge.
Our Game 5. I was like, I was yelling at the TV. Do not throw this guy a fastball. That is exactly what he's looking for.
Yep.
Just breaking ball, and then finally throws a fastball and just cranks it out of the yard. I just remember as a kid, though, it was just the big bad Yankees. And that's all I remember because you guys would be there every single year. I remember in 2001 against the Diamondbacks, that walk-off home run by Scott Brocious. No, but by Scott Brocious, before you guys lost the series, but the walk-off home run by Scott Brocious, I was so pissed off as a child. I just remember because they always won. Like, you guys were the big bad Yankees. And since 2009, you guys haven't been there. Like you said, it's been 15 years. So it is nice and it's great for baseball that the Yankees and the Dodgers are both here because it's been, 44 years since 1981, since this last happened. And so it's just, I think baseball, after having its least rated World Series last year, Rangers, Diamondbacks, and now it's like, it's just going to balloon.
We already saw the power of LA versus New York, right? The Game 1 of the NLCS already came at over 11 million viewers, which is already higher than last year's World Series, right? And that's the Mets, which I have a lot of respect for the Mets. I think they played a great series. Yeah. I think similar to what you guys experienced, I actually thought there's a lot of similarities in both games. We probably had a little bit more offense from the bats, but again, that was what they gave us to do. The Mets love to walk a lot of batters, right? Which is unfortunate for them. But their fan base was solid. They were there. They were loud. They stayed for much of the game until it sort of got out of hand. Obviously, akin to Dodger Stadium, I'm not going to say people don't try to beat traffic, but got a lot of respect for them. Not trying to take a shot at them, but I think we can all agree. I mean, the Yankees, unquestionably, when we talk about the Yankees and the Dodgers, these are the two of the largest fan bases, two of the biggest. I fully anticipate this World Series to break records. I'm hoping to see numbers similar to the 90s when baseball was at its apex, when the Braves were doing their thing. Those are the sorts of numbers that I'm hoping to see. I think we'll see them. I mean, when you talk about these lineups, we're not just talking. The crazy thing about these two teams is that for years, it just seems like there's these stacked teams with these stacked lineups. And yet, when you're looking at these teams are supposed to be here. This is really the first time possibly in a few years that you see two teams of he's got Soto, he's got Otani. Right. He's got Judge. He's got Mookie. He's got Giancarlo. He's got Freddie Freeman. And then the bottom of the lineup stack up. You have guys, Tommy Edman getting the NLCS MVP. From the Yankees, you have role players. Their shortstop, Chisholm. Volpe or Chisholm. That's Chisholm, by the way, is James' boy. That's his boy right there. He likes Chisholm.
I love my boy Chisholm. That's my boy Chisholm.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, buddy.
Let me ask you this, James. As we're going in and we're talking about all these players, like you said, absolutely pitching is going to play a large role. These bullpens who are both looking fantastic. You said it already. The Yankees had the best closer in baseball. The Dodgers have rotated closers.
I said the Guardians had the best closer in baseball.
Oh, the Guardians had the best.
The Guardians had the best bullpen, best closer in baseball.
Yeah, the Guardians. It was actually interesting to see the amount of runs that they gave up to you guys. I'm not gonna lie, but their starters, it was almost like flip flop for them. Like their starters shut you down, and then their bullpen came in and let them down. But
dude.
Hey, we've seen that. We've seen that at Dodgers.
That was the wearing down of it all. That's exactly what the Yankees do. That's exactly what the Dodgers do. I think the difference. Well, I guess I don't know. What was the question you were going to ask me? And we'll kind of go from there. You said you were. You said what is the? And I corrected you.
What's your player? Is it a player?
Yeah. What's your player? What's your guy? Who's your X factor? Who's your guy that's going to make a big difference in the series?
Does it matter? Are we talking offensively? Are we talking pitching?
Yeah, offensively, man. Come on, I don't want to hear about your pitcher. Give me somebody. Give me your Tommy Edman. Give me somebody.
My Tommy Edman. I think Rizzo's going to be that.
Rizzo. See, that's the thing. You forget about a guy like Rizzo, who just a few years ago put a Cubs team on his back and did this thing.
Right.
Rizzo's batting .400 in the playoffs with 2 broken fingers.
But doesn't his defense scare you a bit?
Not really.
I mean it's been kind of suspect.
There were two plays. One, he overshot the dive out to the ball and it went just under it. The other one, I don't know that anybody else would have made that play, whether it was Cabrera or John Birdie on first. Neither of them. They're fast, but there are no Rizzo there either. So I'm not too worried about him defensively. I know Boone made a defensive adjustment or a defensive move where he put Cabrera in there at the end of the game, but I don't think that really did anything for us on that.
Yeah.
Pitching wise, though, I'll tell you, I think Tommy Canley is going to be the X factors there.
Former Dodger, the man with the changeup.
And on the other side of the tone, I think Banda is going to be the one that does it for you, and that's a former Yankee that never even saw the light of day for us.
Dude. He's fun to watch. He's fun to watch. I think Honeycutt. I think the problem for Banda is Honeycutt has kind of moved into that. We're looking for Honeywell. We're looking for that X factor. Honeywell has pitched Big Z, who you got, man? Who's your X factor this season or this season? This series seems like it's been a season actually finally making a run in the playoffs. This is very exciting for both of us, I think.
I think Freeman. Obviously, like people are like, Freddie Freeman, he's an all-star. He's got a future Hall of Famer, but he hasn't been healthy.
No.
And he's been the one hole in our lineup. When he's in, like that's the guy that teams like to target.
Yep.
And I think that they pitch around Mookie, they pitch around Ohtani to get to Freeman.
Yep.
And if Freeman's healthy enough, there's no hole in this lineup because everyone else, 1 through 9, is just a dog right now. Like even Tommy Edman, even Gavin Lux, we're talking about at Sushi. Yeah. Gavin Lux is getting good at bats, and that's my God, that's insane. Like if you're telling me that 2 years ago, Gavin Lux would not be here right now in this lineup. So if Freddie Freeman's healthy, if his ankle's up for the challenge, I think that's my X factor.
100%. My X factor, as I look at the series for sure, it's got to be the boy Kike. He's got some great splits against a few of the Yankees pitcher.
I knew that's what he was going to say.
Yeah, so he's shown that he can do it. But I'm looking for somebody in the bottom of that lineup to really turn it over because that's what the Yankees are going to do. Right? Volpe's been hitting great. We already talked about him. We're talking about Chisholm. These are guys that you cannot just assume that you're going to get easy outs at the bottom of this Yankee lineup. So the Dodgers have to do the same thing. There's not going to be very many easy outs in the series. No, I just don't see it happening. For you to decide, really.
Don't forget about Verdugo coming home too.
Oh yeah, Verdugo.
He has performed well going back to his old clubs.
He looks so weird, that clean cut.
Yeah,
he looks so weird. It's like
we're professionals, bro.
Danielle. So the other day we were watching because I'm a freak. I watch a lot of baseball. You guys know this. I turn on the Yankee Guardians game. And she's like, "Why don't the Yankees have last names on their jerseys?" I'm like, "That's their thing, man. It's all about the name on the front of the jersey. Gotta respect it. I love it. So it is what it is.
No beards.
But, hey, no beard. Yeah, that's right. No beards.
Yeah,
that's why Verdugo looks so strange to you, man.
Aaron Judge would look like a manimal with a beard.
Oh, he would.
And
I don't think he can grow one.
No.
Look at him.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, well.
He's very clean cut. He pulls it off.
Yeah, that's true.
He's got a strong jaw.
He's always been that way. Always been.
Now we're talking about fashion. Regardless, it's going to be a fun series. This is what baseball's needed.
Right.
Like as I said, I think it's going to be record-breaking. Of course, we're going to have James talking with us, hanging out with us. He's a big Yankee fan. I'm telling you, if you're not checking out our YouTube,
check it out.
He's got a Yankee banner. Yankee banner right behind him.
Yeah.
He's doing the whole thing.
It's the real deal.
James, wrap it up for me. Just say your last thoughts on this series. Just excited. What are you feeling right now?
Predictions?
Yankees in 6.
All right.
My reasoning being that I think with Cortez and what's his name coming out of the bullpen, I don't think that there's any matching the Yankee starters. Like you said, there's bats on both sides. There's gonna be hitting. I don't think there's gonna be blowouts like you guys had in the Padres and Mets series. Where there were a couple games. I think that second game versus the Mets, you guys kind of gave away, knowing that we're probably not going to take this one. It's a bullpen game. Just let it go. Right. You didn't bring out your big bullpen guys. So the Yankees didn't have that at any point in the ALDS or ALCS. So I know I keep harping on the pitching, but that's going to be the crux for you guys. On the other side, I think that if Yamamoto's splitter is working, that's going to be trouble. That's the majority of the guys in your pitching staff are fastball, slider, changeup type guys. There's not a lot of strikeouts per se that come out of that pitching rotation or that bullpen. So that favors us in that sense. But I think that if they grind that out and your starters can find a way to get 4 or 5 innings out, that's gonna bode well for you guys if it goes the other way.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate you taking the time. And obviously, we're not going to not mention Stanton has been an absolute stud.
Dog. And he rakes at Dodger Stadium, too.
He loves playing at Dodger Stadium. He loves working the Dodgers. He loves putting on a show. He's from Chico Hills.
Yeah, exactly.
So he's coming home. It's good. There's going to be a lot of homegrown guys here. You got Jack Flaherty. You got Stanton. You got some guys that are coming on home, as you've already mentioned. We do go race our farms. We got some of your guys. You got some of ours. Regardless, it's going to be fun. I'm sure we'll be talking to you. James, we appreciate so much you jumping on, man.
Appreciate you, man.
We hope you have a great night, and thank you for your thoughts, my friend.
Good luck.
Absolutely. We don't need it, but have a good night, guys. We'll see you.
All right, man. Later.
All right. What a treat.
Awesome.
James jumping on. Huge Yankees fan. Look, we told you, we're baseball fans, right? Here at Brevity Sports, we understand. I'm not even going to call it stereotype. I'm not going to call it a stereotype because I'll be honest with you, I have experienced Dodger fans at Dodger Stadium.
Oh, yeah.
We saw it, right? Things being thrown on the field.
Terrible.
Unacceptable.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to sit here and say, we've obviously earned some of that criticism.
Yeah.
What fan base probably hasn't, but regardless, we enjoy having those conversations. We think there should be fans of both sides at every game. Makes it more fun. You get to talk next to your friend. I'd love to be sitting next to James with James, at a game, hanging out, talking. We've already been talking trash. Of course, we already know friendship is always there. But we appreciate James so much.
We do.
And we look forward to this World Series, by the way, starting on Friday and then moving straight into Saturday, moving right along. I love it. Let's do it.
Do it, man.
Here we go. So,
man, it's so good to be next to you, though.
So good to be next to him. Here we go. So let's start right here. Okay, NFL. There was a couple must-win games this last weekend. A couple teams needed to win. We're talking about the Rams. We're talking about the Jags. We're talking about the Cardinals. Okay, all 3 of these teams walk out of this week with a win.
Right.
I mean, this is huge. Big Z, who was the biggest winner of these must-win games?
Man, I said the Cardinals. I mean, the Cardinals. Kyler Murray. I mean, this was the year that he was kind of supposed to evolve as the guy, right? Like, all the contract stuff. Like, he's not paying attention when Call of Duty comes out. His numbers slip.
Yeah, all
that stuff. And you had to beat a Chargers team that's kind of been struggling. That really doesn't have any offense. Like, you had to take advantage of that.
Yeah.
And though it wasn't pretty, you got the job done.
Yeah.
Right. And now they're second place in the NFC West. They're 1 game behind the Seahawks.
Yep.
And Kyler Murray led them to that win. So I think that was the biggest win. I think that was kind of a statement game for him and saying, look, league, like, I'm still a franchise quarterback caliber. I deserve to be paid that money.
Right.
And look at us. We're not just the same old Cardinals in the past.
100%. And I think the way, like you said, they did it.
Right.
The fact that it was Kyler. Like, things did not go well. The game plan was not working. The receivers that were supposed to be open were not open. The running backs were supposed to get space. We're not getting space.
Right.
James Conner looked great, but Kyler was the one who got the big touchdown to get the thing done. For me, personally, I'm going to go with – it's going to be a surprise, but I'm going with the Jags. And why I'm going with the Jags is that when you look at the Jaguar team, they shouldn't be this bad.
Right.
Like they shouldn't be this bad. You look around and you're like, okay, you got Brian Thomas. He's not a slouch. Obviously, we're doing Christian Kirk. He's not a slouch. Ingram. He's not a slouch. And now with the emergence of Tank Bigsby, I just hope that this coaching staff is smart enough to utilize him correctly. Look, at some point, you got to realize, right? Etienne is great. And on third down or a passing situation, get him in there. You know what I mean? But you've got to utilize, even if you're losing, you've got to utilize a guy like Tank Bigsby the way he's running the ball. He's running like a manimal.
He is.
That's the word of the night, manimal.
Bro, it is insane. Like just the difference in style between Etienne and Bigsby, it's just night and day. And so, and when you're a team like the Jaguars and you're going through the lull that they're going through, you need to change something up. You need some guy to bring that energy onto the field and just to run guys over. And that's exactly what Tank Bigsby is doing for them. And so if I'm, what's the coach? Peterson. If I'm Pearson, I keep him in, dude. Like, don't put in Etienne.
Yeah.
Like, he's a very finesse type running back. But right now, you just need to play ground to town football, man. Like, you just need to play bully ball, and that's what he is.
It opened everything else up.
It does.
When he was running up the middle, the Patriots had no answer. They had to stack the box, and all of a sudden you had guys open.
It opens
on
up
the outside.
Whole passing game, and Trevor Lawrence is good enough to find his weapon receivers.
Here's what else I'll say. Doug Peterson, you're talking about a culture change, right?
Yeah.
You got to go internally here, bud. Like, to me, Big Z, at some point, everybody needs to be able to look internal, right? Whatever situation it is, right? Like, if I get 6 calls from customers and they're like, hey, man, I'm not happy, whatever it is. 1 call, like, all right, dude, that guy might be crazy. 2 calls, well, maybe 3 calls. All right, what am I doing wrong? Right. Like I talk to my boys all the time. You know, kids are, you know how it is, man. It wasn't my fault. Grayson did this. It wasn't my fault. Jaden did this. At some point, you got to go internal. And when I look at Peterson, you're calling for a shift in culture. Well, here's your shift. Yeah. It's been given to you. His name's Tank Bigsby. Right. He runs hard. He changes the face of your team. Right. Can you utilize him? And even in this game, I felt like he made some mistakes. Right. He pulled him out in situations like, what are you doing? You just killed the drive. Yeah. He was crushing it. He just killed the drive. Take him out for a play. I get it. Guy needs a break. Yeah. Next play, hey, buddy, you're back in. Right. All right? Get back in there, champ. Like, so I love it. But, you know, hey, it is what it is. Speaking of must-wins, Big Z, there was some big winners. Some teams that didn't necessarily need to win, but they were on the cusp, right? They needed to kind of flex their muscle. I'm talking about the Lions, the Packers, and the Seahawks. Obviously, the Lions, huge when it gets to the Vikings.
I think probably I'd say 90% of people took the Vikings just because it was in Minnesota and Jared Goff's history in big games against really good defenses. Can he beat the pressure?
Can he rise?
Wow, it was just 25 of 28. Yeah, 4 touchdowns. Hasn't turned the ball over in so many games.
Crazy.
And Monty goes down, it's kind of hurt, but Jahmyr Gibbs not replaces him, but kind of steps up in that sense, fills the hole that Monty and himself had, gets a couple touchdowns. I mean, that team looks unstoppable. You talk about weapons, they have to be the top of the list in the NFL. Like, if you just line by line by line, player by player, they're the most dangerous team in the NFL. 100%, hands down. And to beat an undefeated Vikings team, it kind of created some question marks about their identity, who they are. Is Sam Darnold actually that guy? Yep. So I think that was a huge win for the Lions.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Look, to me, the Packers and Seahawks had big wins. I appreciate it. I respect it. But the Lions really put on a show against what was being considered the best team in football. Right. I mean, so shout out to the Packers. You know, they beat the Texans. Obviously, the Texans are still short Nico. Everybody has problems. Everybody has health issues. That's not going to be an excuse. But the Lions beating a healthy Vikings team, man, you really got to feel good if you're a Lions team. I 100% agree. Seahawks did look better. Obviously, they go to first place in their division over the Niners. That's huge. Other news, obviously, just more injuries, man. Yeah. It just seems like, dude, nobody can stay up.
You're talking about the Niners. I mean, Ayuk ACL, Deebo had pneumonia. He was in the hospital. Jennings was out. CMC was out. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're rolling with their 5th and 6th string wide receivers out there. So that's tough. It's really tough when you're talking about that. But they're all around the NFL, man. It's just I don't know what it is. Is it guys not playing in the preseason, guys kind of holding out during preseason and training camp?
Right.
These things, it kind of makes you question their tactics, right? What they're doing in the offseason, what's their training regimen like? Because again, like these are the best athletes on the planet. Is it the turf they're playing on? Like, I don't know, but something needs to change because I don't remember this many injuries happening at once in the NFL.
Or both snapping, just ugly injuries.
Yes, ugly. Not just like not concussions.
I'm talking like,
just like
going to step back on the
field. Yeah. It's like Godwin. Just I don't know if you saw the video.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, but his foot.
Don't go watch the video. If you haven't seen the video, don't watch it.
His ankle was dislocated. It just didn't up. It was not
bad.
Good. So
it was bad.
It's crazy, man. I don't know. You got to ask questions. You have to ask the questions.
You got to ask questions, man. Biggest loser. This doesn't necessarily need to be a team who lost, Big Z.
Yeah.
But who's your biggest loser coming out of this week? We're looking at these teams. I enjoy watching football. And sometimes, like, even if you win a game, it doesn't look fantastic.
Right.
So who's your biggest loser coming out of this week?
Well, I'll talk about a team that did lose. My team, the Niners. Okay. The Niners, they looked very bad, to say the least, against the Chiefs. It was a Super Bowl rematch.
Yeah.
It looked like they psyched themselves up too much and wanted to play the perfect game.
Right.
When in reality, there is no such thing as a perfect game. And when you mess up, when you're trying to play a perfect game, everything else just kind of falls into shambles. And you just can't get back mentally. You can't survive that. Again, we talked about the injuries to the team,
right?
But if you're Brock, like you have to step up, right? He made a couple of one of his interceptions wasn't his fault, but the 2 of the 3 were his fault. And I want to see how he bounces back against the Cowboys.
Right.
Again, it is tough to play with guys that you haven't practiced first team reps with, but if you do want to be the $60 million man or the franchise quarterback, whatever that is, whatever that entails for you, you got to step up. You have to play outside yourself and check down to the run or whatever it has to be. But they just look bad. I really wish they had to buy to kind of reset themselves, but the Cowboys usually let teams reset themselves against them. So I think this is a reset week, and then they got to buy after this. So I think they'll be okay.
I think they're looking forward to getting Juwan Jennings back.
Yeah, Juwan he's a dog. Again,
he's their number one receiver.
And people are like, Juwan Jennings, but like he's big body.
So funny.
Great route runner.
It's so funny because I see this in like Little League all the time.
Yeah.
Like in Little League, there's always supposed to be like this one kid, like that's the kid. He's so fast, he's so big, he's so strong, he's athletic. And then you just see another kid who's maybe slower.
Yeah.
And isn't as naturally gifted as an athlete, but you watch him play and it's all there. Right. He's got the tools, he's coachable, he listens well, and you love to see it. I prefer those guys 10 times out of 10. Yeah. And that to me is Juwan Jennings and Ayuk. Coming into the season, everybody's talking about Ayuk. He's flashy, he's fast, he's athletic, he's the guy. And then all of a sudden, Juwan Jennings like, cool, man. I'm just here to do my job.
Yep.
I'm just here to play football. Hopefully, he's able to keep that mentality as his right and start him.
Yeah.
Hopefully, he can, stay inside himself.
Yep.
I love it. My biggest loser actually is a team that won.
Okay.
And I think the problem is that they won.
Yeah.
If the Colts lose this game, they're able to sort of lose this game and come out and say, you know what, dude? Joe Flacco, Richardson, you're not ready. Let's sit you down. You don't look 100%. But because they won, right? Anthony Richardson is like getting hyped. I mean, dude, you would think the way this dude was getting hyped running for 4 yards, that it was like that he scored like a 40-yard touchdown.
Yeah.
Like it was crazy. I was like, dude, what are you excited about? Like you guys, you guys look like dog water. Like you guys look terrible. Like he's missing throw after throw.
Yeah.
Downs is terrible. Pittman didn't even want to play. I'm just kidding. We don't know what's going on with Pittman. I'm not trying to say anything. It's just a joke. It was just a joke. Everybody relax. Sure. It's not that big of a deal. But people are like, I'm not gonna play. You know what I mean? Like they don't even want to take the hit. So all of a sudden now the Colts are between a rock and a hard place. But because they won that game, they can't just now say like, oh, Richardson, I know you won that game, but now you got to sit. Yep. Right? It's almost like, what do we do? What do we do with the situation? Makes it really tough, man.
It's tough. I mean, especially when he's not a quarterback. He's not a quarterback. He's the point.
So bad.
Like you need them to tank. You need them to tank so you can go get another quarterback. I mean, I know we keep talking about it. We're harping on him, but like, my gosh, you got to move on. Like Joe Flacco is your starting QB. He is, and a loss would have kind of put the magnifying glass on. Like, okay, you're the issue,
right?
But it allowed them to be like, oh no, maybe he is good enough. So, yeah, no, he's not. And this is why I'm like, sometimes I question these guys in such high positions in professional sports, because if we can see it, if the ones sitting on the couch can see it and you can't, got an issue. Got an issue. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, when I watch him play, here's the reality situation. Bo Nix does not look fantastic all the time. He's able to read where he's supposed to go with the ball. Right. Caleb Williams didn't look great to start the year. He was able to read where he's supposed to go with the ball. He might be missing it, might take a couple sacks, but he's able to read it, he's able to make the throw. Right. We've seen Bo Nix capitalize. We've even seen Drake May capitalize at this point, right? We've seen a lot of these guys start to capitalize, a lot of these rookie quarterbacks start to capitalize. And with Richardson, I know he hasn't started that many games because of injury, which is, by the way, due to his play style, which he is not changing. For whatever reason, he's like, no, oh, you're a cornerback? Let's go shoulder to shoulder. Yeah. Oh, you're a cornerback? I'm not stepping out of bounds. I'm a truck. Like, that doesn't make any sense. I don't get it. It is what it is, but I think that really puts them between a rock and a hard place. Looking into next week, obviously there's a couple big games coming up, a couple teams that need to get some W's. I think one of the bigger matchups that I would say right now is that we just talked about the Colts and Texans. Right. You're talking about a Colts team who is 4-3 and a Texans team that's 5-2. Both these teams look like they were going to be just fine, and yet all of a sudden a couple losses starting to skid. Again, the Colts trying to figure out exactly who they are. Yeah. This could be tough for them. Must-win games.
It's huge. I mean, you lost in Green Bay. And you should have won that game. In my opinion. C.J. Stroud had probably one of the worst games of his career. I mean, it's 2 years or a year and a half at this point. But this is a kind of a get right game, especially against the Colts. You have to figure it out. You have to start doing what you're supposed to do, right? So I 100% agree. Mine is the Jets at the Patriots, man. I mean, it's kind of a not really a marquee matchup per se. But Aaron Rodgers and the Jets, like, they go out and they get Devontae Adams. They go fire their coach. And they come out flat on Sunday Night Football against the Steelers. They made Russell Wilson look like the MVP Russell Wilson that he was a few years ago. And it just did not look good. And I think actually this week he came out with a really good quote and said, we're playing mad, and we need to stop playing mad and just enjoy this game for what it is. And that's good. Sometimes just take the pressure off. Like, we'll actually go through and seep into their brains and the way they play and go out on the field. I don't know, but at least he said it. And I just, it's a must-win game for the Jets. If they don't win it, you got to start selling pieces. I mean, at this point last year, the Jets, after 7 games with Zach Wilson, they were 4-3, and they're 2-5 now. With Aaron Rodgers. So it's a must-win. It's a great opportunity at New England, divisional game. You have to win this game.
I think for all the reasons you just said, I would have picked them as my biggest loser if I didn't have so much respect for the Steelers defense. That was really the biggest issue for me, is like the Steelers defense. It just makes sense. Like, all right, you guys lost, but they're really good. But yeah, man, for all the reasons you just said, right? Oh, Zach Wilson's the problem. Ship him out. We're going to be better. We got Aaron Rodgers. Robert Saleh's the problem. Ship him out. Now we're going to solve all the problems. And now you're 2-5. You got to start getting some wins. If you're going to have any chance of sniffing the playoffs, you got to get some W's. You got to get some wins. I'm not going to lie. One of the games I'm looking at, Big Z, this will be the last one for me. I know I was supposed to do one, but now I'm doing 2. Listen, if you're the Broncos, you got to come out. You got to ball. You're playing the Panthers. You got to come out. You got to ball. We are obviously going to talk about the Bears Commanders, but without Jaden Daniels, who's probably not going to play. A lot less exciting. But if you're the Broncos, you got to come out and ball. Bo Nix needs to throw a couple tutties.
Bo Nix has to have a good game. Bo Nix has to have like a 250-yard passing game, a little less rushing.
Unless there's a massive drop. And even with that, I'm thinking if you're Bo Nix right now, you got to go for 300.
Bo.
You got to do some things.
Bo, use Cortland Sutton. 0 targets last game? He's your best receiver. And I know you won. But like in this game specifically, wake up your guy, because you're in the playoff race. You're in the hunt. So feed him, make him happy, have his morale grow. He's your guy. He's going to be your savior going in deep into the season. When it's cold and it's snowing on you and you need that first down, that's the guy you're going to have to throw to. So let's go. Use him. Let's go.
Dude, at the end of the day, if you're Sean Payton, let him go.
Let him go.
Even if you win this game, you got to let this kid figure it out. Let him throw it around. I don't care if you're up by 21, make it 45. Keep
let it
scoring, keep scoring, keep throwing, keep doing what you got to do. Just absolutely get right. Game moving over to fantasy football. All right, the dude of the week. Who you got, Big Z? Who's your dude?
This is a hard one. There's a lot of dudes of the week.
There were some dudes of the week.
But Lamar Jackson.
He's
5 touchdown passes.
5 touchdowns.
Passes, not rushes. Passes.
Fun fact, Jason was like going into a game that night and was like, well, I'm up by 60, but he's got Lamar Jackson and James Conner. I was like, oh, man, he lost.
Yeah, pretty handily, I'm sure, too.
Yeah, he lost.
I mean, Lamar Jackson, in one of my leagues, he's got me 46 points.
Yeah.
But Lamar Jackson, I think Derrick Henry takes so much pressure off him.
Yeah.
And he's just able to, like, with the play action or whatever it is, like, it just opens up so much of the field for him. There's a lot of guys wide open, and it just makes his job easier. So congrats to him. Really happy for him. He looks really good this year. I think he's definitely in consideration for MVP.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's a bad man, dude.
Yeah.
Both those dudes are bad men. We promised we'd bring more of it to you. Oh, you know what? No, wait. What's mine?
Come on, man.
What's mine? Shout out to boy Mark Andrews, dude. Listen, I know he's gotten 2 tutties, and that's really what saved his week. This week was a tutty. But I'm just happy to see.
For him.
Right. Good for him, man.
Yeah.
Like, everybody's pooping on, everybody's sleeping on.
Yeah.
Good for you, Mark Andrews. We all knew you were a good football player. Keep it going, baby. You're part of a good offense. We promised you we'd bring more of it to you. We're talking some college football, Big Z. There was a couple big wins this week, okay? Tennessee beats Bama, and Georgia beats #1 Texas. Who's the bigger winner, Big Z?
I think Tennessee beating Alabama. And I think actually just it's a bad loss for Alabama.
It's a real bad loss.
Like, and it shows you how crucial Nick Saban was to that program.
Yeah, they're vulnerable.
That they're very, very vulnerable. Like, the new coach, deserved a big spot on the big stage. Coached Washington in the national championship game last year. But Nick Saban is just on another level, and you can see it. It comes through in those little moments where that a lot of people don't really think that matter, and they actually do matter. They can actually change the tide of the game, and you saw it, man. And so they got to figure it out. Great win for Tennessee, 100%. But that's my big takeaway from college football.
I mean, it kills you because they already lost to Vandy. I 100% agree. Tennessee, Georgia's a good team. It doesn't surprise me.
Right.
I know they already did lose to Bama this year, but they're a really good team.
Yep.
Bama's team, they have that's almost like a division rival.
Yeah.
Like, it really doesn't matter who's better between Alabama and Georgia. They played so many times. It's like they know each other.
Yeah.
The coaches know each other. They know the style. I know it's a new coach. He still knows Bama football. Like, he knows what's going to happen. So those guys are very, like, tight. Those guys know. Rankings be darned. They know. But Georgia versus Texas, Georgia's a good team.
Yeah, they are.
Georgia's a good team, and they swallowed up those quarterbacks, Ewers and Little Manning. I mean, they did what they were going to do.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to Georgia. But, 100% Tennessee was a bigger win. Michigan is completely in free fall.
Illinois?
They lose to Illinois.
Jeez, man.
Illinois.
I mean, Illinois is not known for their football program. They're a basketball school. And, again, you see the loss of Harbaugh. That's huge. I mean, and another Big Ten thing I want to talk about, USC losing to Maryland.
Ouch.
Maryland. I know it was a cross-country trip for USC to go to Maryland.
No excuse.
But they had a 2-touchdown lead. They were leading by 10-plus points with 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
It just doesn't look good. I think they may be regretting that move to Big Ten.
I mean, the only team that's not regretting it is Oregon.
Yeah,
Oregon's still balling.
Looking good.
Oregon's still saying Pac-12, whatever, dude.
Yeah.
Pac-12, Big 12. I want all the smoke.
That's right.
Oregon and no, I'm just kidding. But Oregon is Oregon is balling, dude. They're the only ones that don't regret it.
Yeah.
They just got Ohio State.
Right.
Ohio who? That's what they say.
Exactly.
So they're the only ones not regretting it. I love it. But yeah, dude, there's some big laws going on. I mean, Michigan's not even in the top 25.
I know.
Let's not missing them. Michigan's not even in the top 25.
I don't think we're missing them.
Oregon, Georgia, number 2.
Yeah.
Penn State, OSU, Texas. I'm not seeing them, dude. Shout out to SMU. You ever see that 30 for 30? They got a really, really good SMU 30 for 30.
Yeah.
Super good. They're in the top 25. Good to see them balling again. Army and Navy they're still rolling, man. And it's really fun to watch Army and Navy be good.
It is.
They play each other.
Yeah, they do.
I think a big game.
Yeah, I think it potentially, because when they play each other at the end of the year, if they're both undefeated, the winner of that game could go to the college football playoff.
That would be huge.
That would be really big because they'd be the winner of that, whatever the conference, I think the American conference they're in. That would be awesome to see one of them in the football playoff.
Yep.
That'd be so cool.
I mean, we're going to find out right now because I think, if I'm not mistaken, Navy plays Notre Dame.
Wow.
So that's going to be number 12 Notre Dame versus number 20 for Navy.
Navy's at home too. That's huge.
That's a big game. Huge. Like you said, they got to keep rolling.
Yep.
They got to keep rolling. So I'm excited for it. I love it.
Yep.
Moving right along. I just got to say before we move off college football, listen, actually, Gentry, dude is the truth.
Yeah.
Genty, however you say that. I mean,
Genty.
He is. It doesn't matter who he plays. He ran all over Oregon #1 earlier this year.
Yeah.
He's going #1 overall.
I mean, he's the reason why Boise State, right? Yeah. He's the reason why Boise State is either ranked.
He's going #1 overall.
Yeah.
Anybody think like this is going to be every? I was talking to Jason about it. He goes, "Man, how sick would it be if Dallas got Genty?" And I was like, "Dog, you realize you'd have to trade for the first round pick or for the first pick because he's going #1."
Right.
He's like, "What was the last time somebody went 1 overall?" I was like, "Bo Jackson, another freak. This dude's a freak." And what's crazy about it, I don't know if you've seen the funny videos, but like I see all the funny videos. Like he stands there, like he just stands there like that before the play. He doesn't get in the ready position. Right. He doesn't go like knees bent. He's like, "Yep, I'm gonna take your soul." Yep. And then they get the ball, and then he takes that dude's soul. It's crazy.
It's great.
It's absolutely
it's
crazy.
Like a video game, man.
It's like a freaking video game, dude. MLB, we're gonna talk, James, a ton about it. We got the World Series. If you're not already, check it out.
Check it out.
Check it out. We're taking the Dodgers,
of course.
We tied, by the way, in the playoffs. I did it. I didn't get slaughtered by Big Z.
That's right.
Feels so good.
To be fair, though, you usually win in the playoff ones, and I always win the regular season ones, which is
you slaughtered me in the regular ones. So
yeah. So
technically, I took a step back.
No. I prefer your side of it winning the playoffs every time.
There we go.
So
let's go. I love it. I'm always homegrown. That's it. Last but not least, hockey is back. Keep watching hockey. NBA is back.
NBA is back.
Look, despite what everybody have you believe, Anthony Davis is a dog.
He's the real deal.
That's the real deal right there.
That's an MVP-like performance last night. ESPN didn't talk about it. TNT didn't talk about it. But Brevity Sports talks about it.
Talk about it.
36 points, 16 rebounds. Won the game for the Lakers. LeBron really didn't do too much. Who cares about LeBron and Bronny playing together? Awesome, but let's focus on what actually matters, and AD matters.
I'll tell you what else. Ant might be one of my favorite players.
I love Ant.
Like, I've never had a secondary player in the league that's not a Laker because I'm a Laker fan.
Yeah.
But, like, man, he did. Like, I love that guy.
So much swag.
He's hilarious.
He's so funny. He's so even when they're losing, he's just like, he just loves the game of basketball. He just loves being on the court, playing, destroying people. I love it.
I'll say this before we move on to NBA.
Yeah.
Bring back defense. Please.
Defense. There was some defense last night in that game.
But everybody's going over 120. Everybody's over 100 points.
It's 110, 103.
All right, well, you can't, back in the day it was a big deal when he crossed 100. Like, yo, he did it.
Sure.
And now it's like, all right, whoever gets to 100 first wins. Like,
yeah,
you're
not wrong.
It's like, come on, man. Bring back defense.
Bring back defense.
Come on. Got to shout out F1. Big weekend for Ferrari. They take number 1. They take number 2. Verstappen takes number 3. Even though Lando Norris, it's unclear, should he have had to give up that position? Should he have been punished? I don't know. But it's going to come down the wire. If you're not watching F1, go check out F1. They're driving real fast. I got my F1 shirt on. I love it. I love it. Big Z.
This is fun.
We did it. We're in Long Beach. We did it. We're hanging out.
Touching the elbows.
Touching elbows.
Wow, it's so great.
City of California, hey, together.
I appreciate you coming out. We had some good sushi. We beat our record. Not our record, but we beat how many rolls we had last time.
I'm distended. I'm still so full.
I don't know how because I'm feeling good right now. Like I could eat a bowl of rice right now.
Dude, I'm ready to go Mimi's. Like, yeah. I've been sleeping.
He has a drive. I appreciate him coming out.
I did.
But dude, can't wait for the World Series to start on Friday. These guys can't wait. We love you guys. You guys have a good weekend. Good night. And we'll see you next week.